This week is not Money in the Bank. It is WWE Backlash, and it is headlined by one last time, arguably one of the greatest rivalries in WWE history. John Cena, the 17-time World Heavyweight Champion, is defending against his arch nemesis, the hometown hero in St. Louis, the Viper, Randy Orton. Andy, I know we wanted to see this maybe more than once or another iteration of it, but one last time, man, I guess this is for all the marbles.
Yeah. Then again, they said Rock and Cena was once in a lifetime, and then they did it
twice in a lifetime,
back-to-back years. But
never say never.
Yeah, never say never. Part of me kind of wishes we'd have got to may get another one, but at the same time, I think just a one-off between these two guys, because it's not like there's not, a plethora of other John Cena versus Randy Orton matches you can go back and watch. But it seems like this might be the last one we get, but I don't think we're going to get a very squeaky clean finish. I think something's going to happen in this one. I think that's going to be the theme for Cena's year is he doesn't win necessarily clean. I think that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, in some respects, you have to make up for what happened at WrestleMania, and you have to. I mean, you'll still do some sort of dusty finish, but it'll be a little more digestible, I guess is the right word. Maybe come off a little better than what the Cody finish did. Let's look back. This Friday, we said the SmackDown episode was very forgettable. We saw a Randy Orton promo, though, hyping up this match. Honestly, Andy, the promo did nothing for me. It didn't make me excited for this match. I'm curious as to what happens. Of course, we have one SmackDown left before Backlash. That happens this Friday. I'm curious as to what the face-to-face looks like this Friday between these two.
Yeah, me too. Because this past week, you could tell, as the promo was happening, Cena's not here and they have nothing for this week. They're just waiting till next week. They're just pushing everything off for one more week. I honestly think we're going to get a rinse and repeat of what we've gotten the last couple of times. And that's Cena may try to cheap shot Randy, kind of beats him up a little bit, eats an RKO. Randy stands with the title at the end of the night, kind of what we've done in the build-up to WrestleMania and in the build-up to Backlash as well. I don't see them kind of going away from that method anytime soon. I think that's just going to be the blueprint for Cena feuds for a while.
Yeah, I agree. And that the blueprint sort of looks back into this rivalry's history as well. As I'm gonna throw this comment up from Jared. It's really interesting. As nostalgic as this match is, and as much as we're all looking forward to, we have to get Cena and Orton one more time. Jared says, I know in the past, Orton and Cena, laughing out loud at his dad. That's an inside joke. That's hilarious. They've had a lot of matches in the past, and most of them sucked. I mean,
I can only think of one good one.
Yeah, Randy Orton's a certain type of wrestler. John Cena is a certain type of wrestler. You're going to get what you get. And this Saturday, it's not going to be a 5-star classic. I can tell you that.
No, that's part of the reason why a couple weeks ago I said this match gives me PTSD, because this was the main event scene when I first got into wrestling, and the matches that they always had were not that great. They weren't even that good, most of them. I think the only good one I remember, a great one that I remember, is I think they had an I Quit match in 2009. Is when Randy was during his minute stage.
It's the one they showed the video package of tonight on Raw, right? I'm fairly certain where Cena beats him with the STF with the handcuffs.
Yeah, and Randy had Cena tied up to the handcuffs and was beating him with a kendo stick at one point, and it was a pretty brutal match. But I don't. It's exciting to see these two guys go at it, and especially with the roles reversed. I'm not excited for the match though. I think that's why there has to be a bunch of smoke and mirrors, because I'm not excited for when the bell rings.
Or Jared's comment there on YouTube. By the way, again, if you're not watching on our YouTube channel, if you're just listening on podcast, I encourage you, hop on over to our YouTube channel. You can watch us do the show. You can drop comments during our live shows, and we will answer them just like we're doing with Jared here. Do you think they make it a last minute no disqualification stipulation? I think that's very possible. I mean, there's not a stipulation match on the rest of the Backlash card, so I think you definitely could. This one certainly needs it. But again, Andy, this could be this heel run of Cena. That's sort of what we're getting. That's the pill we have to swallow. All right, you wanted heel John Cena. This is what you're going to get, and it's going to suck, and you're going to hate it even more. Like, I don't know.
Well, he told us he was going to ruin professional wrestling.
Yeah.
And you know, WrestleMania was a great start in that direction of ruining WrestleMania or ruining. I can't say that word. Wrestling. Yep. I get that's what you said, and I get that's the gimmick, but this is your last year, and I don't see them. I don't see that being the mold,
right?
The whole run. Like I get like maybe a couple of times or once or twice, but again, the fact that it happened at his last WrestleMania is what makes it so hard to swallow that ending. Because it's the most Cena ending ever to a WrestleMania that it's not great. Like the main event ended in a horrible way, and it's not the only time Cena's main evented WrestleMania in a bad match that ended horrible.
Right.
And so I don't see them doing that method over and over and over again. So maybe like a no DQ step, or maybe, you know, I don't know, something just so that they can do something other than just 30 rest holds the entire time.
Right. Well, Andy, this is our official prediction show. Again, like I said a few minutes ago, we're not going to predict Money in the Bank yet, but we are going to look ahead from Backlash and beyond. So if you're making your official match prediction here, we always say that Randy Orton's got a fighting chance every time a title is on the line. But Andy, who walks away WWE champion at the end of Backlash on Saturday?
Well, there's no way that I am going against Cena. So I'm looking at the list right now of rappers that are from St. Louis. And so what I think is John Cena is going to win because Sexy Red gets involved and cost Randy Orton the match. Because that's what this whole storyline is going to be, is Cena wins by the help of rapper.
My God.
So and so. So I'm going with Sexy Red to get involved, and Cena wins.
Wow. I mean, she has an affiliation with WWE.
That's what I'm saying. That's
that makes sense. Again, we never count Randy Orton out, but I'm
Never.
going John Cena here as well. My other prediction question for you in this match: does Cody Rhodes make his return at Backlash?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
I don't think he makes his return at Backlash. I think we probably push it to Money in the Bank. But yeah, I'm going to say Cody does not show up at the end of Backlash.
I think that Cody either does show up at the end of Backlash or it's the following SmackDown, because I laid this out after WrestleMania, and I am going to stick with my prediction that Cody Rhodes is going to come back, declare to John Cena he's going to win the title the right way. He's going to go win Money in the Bank, and then he's going to tell Cena when he's going to cash in. And all of those things happen, and he cashes in at SummerSlam, and they have their match at SummerSlam. And it's announced, and it's, hey, we're doing this. This is when the cash in is. And that's when he wins his title back. I could be totally wrong. That's just my prediction. Having said that, though, Andy, we both picked John Cena to win this championship match. Jared in the chat, Jared picks John Cena as well. What's next for John Cena after this match? Does he immediately go to Cody? Does he even wrestle at Money in the Bank? Is he off that show? Do we even need him for that? Saturday night's main event. He's advertised for it. Who does he wrestle? What do you think?
So my heart is just screaming for them to do Cena versus Punk at Money in the Bank.
Okay.
Because I think that makes it full circle. I don't think Cena will wrestle at Saturday night's main event. At least not this one.
Okay.
I think he might cut a promo, and that's where we start to build towards, you know, Cena and Punk. Maybe at Backlash we finally get something where Paul Heyman, Seth Rollins, and Braun Breaker align themselves with Cena, and then that's how Punk can kind of get involved at the same time. But I think we're heading towards Probably Cena Punk at Money in the Bank, and then Cena Rhodes at SummerSlam. I don't think there's any other option for SummerSlam other than to do that. Maybe Cena versus Roman, but I think Roman's kind of tied up in some other stuff. I think Roman has to go through Seth before he goes to Cena.
Yep.
And so I really think we're heading back towards Cena Rhodes at SummerSlam with a pit stop at Money in the Bank against Punk.
I would take him, and I'm taking this booking from Sam Roberts, who was on his podcast today. I thought it was really interesting. He also said Cena Punk at Money in the Bank. I would just take Cena off the Money in the Bank card because I think you have enough at Money in the Bank, especially if you have Cody win, or at least in the Money in the Bank match. You load that thing up, both men and women. I think you have enough without Cena. I would have Cena wrestle at Saturday night's main event because it's on NBC, because it's in his hometown of Tampa. So I would have him wrestle there. I would have him wrestle LA Knight. Yeah. Because LA Knight, maybe you don't build a pay-per-view around that. It's a good Saturday night main event. You get some interaction between the two. You get a title shot in. You finally get, that match that we all want. And it's a low-key atmosphere. You don't have to feel like you have to build to it.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. I think it would be interesting. The only reason why I think he will wrestle on Money in the Bank is because I think that's where he announced that his next year will be his retirement year.
You are correct. Yes.
So I could see him being on that show and wrestling in some capacity. But I think we got 2 Saturday night main events coming up within the next couple of months.
I think there's one in there's one in May. It's Memorial Day weekend, and I think there's one in July, I want to say.
So maybe in between Money in the Bank and SummerSlam, you could do the LA Knight match.
Yep.
Which I think that's a great shout to do that on, because you have to have both those guys interact at some point.
Yep.
And I think that'd be a great place to do it.
Agreed. All right. Jared reminding us in the comments, shout out to the Hideaway Boys, Gabe and Sean, 2 locations in Pikeville, Kentucky. We appreciate their support, helping us spread the word about Squared Circle Radio. And of course, if they're watching us, thank you guys so much. We appreciate that. If you're new to the channel and you haven't subscribed, what in the world are you waiting for? Doesn't cost you a thing, and it helps us a ton. We would appreciate that so very much. All right. Andy, let's continue down the rest of the Backlash card. Let's see what is coming up next. Oh, from Monday Night Raw tonight, we saw the face-to-face promo between Gunther and Pat McAfee. This, of course, coming the Raw after WrestleMania. Gunther attacking Michael Cole and then choking out Pat McAfee. We talked about this a little bit last week because it was made official. Pat cut an impassioned promo last week. We saw a really good one from Gunther this week. Pat with some shots in as well. I'm excited for this match, honestly, man. I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a great way to do something different with Gunther while also exploring this side of him of like his downfall after losing the world title to Jey Uso and everything that went involved with that. The only thing that is going to annoy me, and I get why, because he's a heel, but that's part of the reason why I didn't want him to tap out, is because now he's going to get the "you tapped out" chance, and it just makes him feel even less now.
Yep.
And so that was like my whole concern with Jay tapping him out, is not necessarily that Jay won or how Jay won, but I feel like in the long run it's going to hurt Gunther. And so from now on, I think that's going to be the running gag. But that being said, I am excited to see this match, and I love the line that Gunther had when he said, "Only by God's grace are my arms going to get pulled off your throat." And I'm like, that's showing that Gunther is very serious now, and we're not to like the messing around Gunther, but he's going to kill Pat on Saturday. Like, he's absolutely going to murder Pat on Saturday.
Yeah, and I think too, man, I think he's trying to get rid of those "you tapped out" chants. Like, he's going to make us not necessarily forget about it, but we're going to see this vicious side of Gunther, man. Like, I think this one ends, like, you just picked Gunther. We picked Gunther last week. I'm going to pick Gunther as well, but man, I think this one ends by like referee stoppage, or like Michael Cole throws the towel in or something. Like, I think it's bad. Like you said it perfectly last week. I think Pat gets some offense. He shakes Gunther up a little bit, gets the fans behind him, and then Gunther just lays into him and just chokes him out. And it's a bad scene.
I think it could be very reminiscent of what Gunther did with Jimmy Uso. Like, I could see them going the whole 9 yards of Pat, probably not blading or busting himself open, but doing the blood packet on his forehead and bleeding like crazy while passed out. And
You know what? I don't know that Pat's ever bled before. He might just go ahead and get the razor and do all the things. You never know.
He might go do it. Him and Devon can teach him how to do it because
that's true.
Devon's poor forehead. But yeah, I think I agree. I think it's going to be uncomfortable to watch towards the end, which is what it should be.
Yes, agreed. Because Gunther's got to get that reputation back.
Yeah.
He has to get that viciousness back. He's got to make the people forget about the "you tapped out" chant. So
yeah,
I think Pat's the perfect guy to be able to do this too. Let's take Pat off his show even for a couple of days, give him a chance to recover, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. He'll sell it well, and it'll be fine. I wonder, if Cole will get a cheap shot in at some point. I think that would be kind of cool. I think also with Jey Uso not being on this card, I think Jey could easily come out to make the save for Pat. And then maybe we get one more round between Jey and Gunther, and then Jey pins him clean. And then that way we get you'll get rid of the "you tapped out," et cetera, et cetera. And then there's obviously, Andy, the internet rumors of your favorite wrestler, Goldberg, getting involved in this. How do you feel about where all that shakes out?
I am intrigued by a Goldberg-Gunther match, especially since Triple H is in charge. If we were talking about a different regime that was in charge, I would be terrified of this match happening. But I think them tapping out Gunther, the way that they can really build back credibility is by having him run through Pat, and then maybe he goes after Jey, maybe he doesn't, maybe he runs through somebody else. And then he's the one that puts Goldberg out to pasture and definitively beats Goldberg, in probably a disrespectful way, like knowing Gunther, and that could build him back up to that top. So if that's the end goal of that feud, whenever it happens, because it's going to happen, then I am totally fine with what they're going to do. If this is just to have Goldberg get one more win, one more moment in the sun by beating Gunther, then I'm going to have a lot of problems with it.
Yeah, I think if this is truly his retirement match and we're doing this under the Triple H regime, he's going out on his back, and he's just going to have to understand that that's pro wrestling. That's the way we do things.
Yeah.
Let's Sting. But again, that's not under the Triple H regime. That's under AEW. And
I was totally fine with Sting winning that one because it was fun.
Me too. That being said, let's talk about the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Lyra Valkyria, the first ever winner of the championship, defending against her mentor, Becky Lynch. This, of course, coming after they won the tag team championship at WrestleMania. And then Becky turns on her the night after when they lose the title. Last week, Andy, a really good promo from Lyra Valkyria. Tonight, really good exchange between the two. I'm on board for this one, but honestly, Andy, it gives me, it reminds me of the triple threat match at WrestleMania between Rhea, Bianca, and Io, where Io felt like the afterthought. I feel like Lyra in some ways feels like the afterthought here because we keep bringing up Bayley and how Bayley's the one that set this whole thing up and Bayley's the trash and et cetera, et cetera. Do you feel that way at all?
Not really. Because I think if Lyra hadn't come out the last couple of weeks and honestly got the better of Becky on the mic both weeks in a row, then I think that would be the case of, this match is just setting up to do one certain thing. I think Lyra has done a great job of making a name for herself the last couple of weeks and making it seem like she belongs there. And in the ring with someone like Becky Lynch. So I'm excited for this one. I think it's going to end. I'm not fully convinced on how this one's going to end yet. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun between these two. It's exciting to see Becky kind of come back in this new role. And to give someone like Lyra a big opportunity against, the one of the faces of the women's division. And there's probably isn't the only one that we're going to get between these two.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I definitely do. Especially because we've seen them before wrestle in NXT. We know their close relationship behind the scenes, so they're probably anxious to be able to get to work together.
Yeah.
I know you said you're not sold on what the ending is going to be yet, but I'm going to make you predict the match. Who do you think walks out as champion?
I honestly think Becky walks out with the Intercontinental Championship, and I think she's probably going to start to beat down Lyra after the match is over, and Bayley comes back, and we start to go towards that. But I could see like maybe at Money in the Bank or maybe at SummerSlam or even Saturday Night's Main Event doing a triple threat between the three of them for the IC title. But I do see Becky walking away with the title.
I definitely think that's where we're heading, is a triple threat between these two. And I think that's where Becky wins the championship. So I'm going to go champ retains here. I think Lyra walks away with the championship with the distraction of Bayley. Getting a roll-up win over Becky. I think we need to feed this Becky heel character more, not necessarily give her the go-away heat that she would get by winning the championship, because then you're going to get the internet who complaining justice for Bayley, Becky Hogan, etc. Yes, Aaron Grisham, I'm talking about you. All the people who talked about Becky wielding her power, etc. That noise is just going to get louder if she wins the championship. I'm not saying that they're trying to avoid that. I just think that it would be good for Lyra to pick up this win, because title reign's been underwhelming. She needs a signature win. And she could get that over Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
All right. The match that was made official earlier, that was, I don't know, really out of nowhere, seemingly. This fifth match is always weird on pay-per-views. I feel like sometimes they just throw one together. This one is a little thrown together. Dominic Mysterio against Penta. Dominic, of course, defending his Intercontinental Championship. We expected Penta to lose at WrestleMania in his first championship outing. Second time around, how do we feel?
I think it's way too soon to take the title off of Dom.
Yeah.
I don't think, though, they want Penta to eat another loss this early on, too. So part of me thinks that this one's going to get thrown out because of Chad Gable or El Grande Americano getting involved and costing Penta or distracting him or disqualification. Or there's always the possibility of Finn Balor getting involved and getting that one thrown out too. So I'm definitely going to say Dom retains, but I don't think we necessarily get a finish or a clean finish to this match.
Is there another match on the card that's not on the card that you would rather see, if you're putting something together, that you would rather see in place of this one? Because again, I feel like this is a great Monday Night Raw main event.
Yeah.
I feel like it's forced for this pay-per-view. I feel like they almost said, oh, we need a fifth match. Let's just put this one on there. It's a little forced.
I mean, if we're talking after what happened tonight, Seth and Sammy.
Mm-hmm. I would maybe lean more towards Braun and Sammy.
Maybe, yeah.
But I see where for sure.
Or if you're trying to build Braun Breaker up, like Braun and Punk would be really interesting to see that at Backlash. Or I'm trying to run through both shows.
I would even do Tiffany Stratton versus Nia Jax on this show.
Wasn't there supposed to be a US Fatal 4-Way?
Yeah, we haven't talked about it yet.
Oh, so it's on the show?
Yes, it's on the show. We're getting there.
Oh, I thought we already had 5 matches.
No, we have 4.
Listen, there's a lot of wrestling that's happened over the last month.
Yes, right.
Yeah. I would maybe Jade Cargill and Naomi again.
Yeah.
Or a triple threat or fatal 4-way between Tiffany, Naomi, Nia, and Jade.
Listen, we are sitting here complaining about a Penta and WWE Championship match on a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Against Dominic Mysterio. This match is probably going to be the best match on the card. Like, I'm going to go ahead and say it right now. It could be the best.
4-way might be.
Let's say, for my argument, that this is the best match on the card.
Yeah.
And we're talking about replacing it.
Yeah.
It's a throwaway. Like, Man, at the end of the day, this match is going to be awesome.
Oh yeah, it's gonna roll. It's gonna be great. Anytime you get to see Penta in a big moment, and now we've got Dom, who is this weird baby face at this point with the crowd. I'm excited to see how they play things out.
All right, let's talk about that United States Fatal 4-Way U.S. Championship. Fatal 4-Way match between the champion Jacob Fatu, the aforementioned LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, and Damian Priest. Man, this is a star-studded Fatal 4-Way match, much like the Intercontinental Championship was at WrestleMania. Now we got one for the U.S. Championship. I'm excited to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, this is the one that I'm probably looking forward to the most from an in-ring perspective. Just because of the fact that you got guys like Jacob Fatu and Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest, who we've seen when they're able to have fun and use weapons and things, how good they can be.
Yep.
But then you throw somebody like LA Knight in there, who is one of the more underrated guys in the ring. I think people forget how good LA Knight can be in the ring. I mean, he had one of the better matches on WrestleMania weekend with Jacob Fatu. But I am looking forward to this one the most. I think it's going to be the car crash match of the night, which normally ends up being my favorite match of the night. So I'm really looking forward to this one.
Andy's middle name is Chaos, in case anybody didn't
It
know. Along with Violence.
Yeah.
So there's that. Jared in the comments, which, by the way, if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit that thumbs up button. That really helps our algorithm. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and drop your comments, drop your questions. We would love to take those live. Even if you're watching the replay, you can drop them as well. Jared dropping his comment. This is the match of the night, the Fatal 4-Way. Yeah, I mean, it probably, at the end of the day, it probably will be, especially Andy, you just mentioned the in-ring stuff. Like, Damian Priest versus LA Knight this past week, LA Knight versus Drew McIntyre the week before that. I mean, some really good stuff between these guys. I'm excited to see how this one shakes out. And this feud with Drew and Priest, and then you add the violence of Jacob in there and LA Knight, who doesn't care to, stick his nose in there. I think, we could see some weapons here. We could see some fun stuff. Oh, Jared, interesting comment here. Possibly the greatest WWF Fatal 4-Way with Bret, Austin, Vader, and Sid is who you're looking for in that Fatal 4-Way, Jared. Greatest Fatal, I don't know if I would go as far as greatest Fatal 4-Way. No, I definitely don't. John Cena, Randy Orton, Edge, and Shawn Michaels, Backlash. Oh, is that 7?
I think so.
Yes, 07. That's definitely no, 08. Sorry, 08. Yeah. That's definitely the best pay-per-view Fatal 4-Way ever.
I mean, I would probably put, what was it, Brock, Strowman, Samoa Joe, and Roman. Didn't they have one at SummerSlam a couple years ago that was just, again, a car crash of a match that is fantastic. But yeah, I think it's going to be up there.
Yes, Jared. Okay, one of the best. You're right. Yes, Jared. You're right. But again, Shawn Michaels is the best, so he has to be involved in the best match.
But he's not Mr. WrestleMania.
Yes, he is Mr. WrestleMania. I digress. So, who are you picking to win this car crash of a Fatal 4-Way match for the U.S. Championship?
There's no way Jacob Fatu is losing this title this soon. The question is, I don't know who he's pinning. I probably lean that he's probably going to pin Damian Priest after just a brutal match or something happens. But I do think Jacob retains and walks out still champ.
I think that Jacob Fatu loses. I don't think he gets pinned. I think Drew McIntyre is your new United States champion to the end of this. And I think the reason is because Solo Sikoa sticks his nose in there just like he did on SmackDown. And Nick Aldis told him, you're screwing Jacob Fatu. Well, guess what? I think it comes to light at Backlash. I think whether he means to or he doesn't mean to, Solo somehow screws Jacob. Drew wins the match because, Andy, we've been teasing this Solo stuff for a long time now with Jacob. We have to pay it off at some point. And, I mean, we got to get the ball rolling or nobody's going to care.
I honestly think they're going to hold off till SummerSlam. I don't think we get this till SummerSlam.
So long away, though.
Yeah. We should have had it at WrestleMania.
We absolutely should have had it at WrestleMania. No doubt.
I mean, they're trying to milk this bloodline story for as much as they can get, and it's time to move on from it. And I honestly think they're going to have this big moment at SummerSlam. Maybe he loses the U.S. title before then. Maybe it's for the U.S. title, and just Jacob just runs through Solo and wins it or retains it. But I really think they're going to push it all the way back to SummerSlam.
All right, let's quickly recap our picks here for WWE Backlash coming up this Saturday. Penta against Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. Who you got?
Give me Dirty Dom.
I am right there with you. Dom retains. Pat McAfee takes on Gunther. I am going Gunther in a bloodbath.
I'm doing the same thing.
All right, U.S. Championship. Fatal four-way, we just mentioned it. Jacob Fatu, Damian Priest, LA Knight, and Drew McIntyre. I'm going new champion, Drew McIntyre.
I'm going with the retaining champ, Jacob Fatu.
All right, Intercontinental Championship on the women's side. Lyra Valkyria defends against Becky Lynch.
Give me the man, Becky Lynch.
I am going retaining the championship is Lyra Valkyria. And then the main event. WWE Championship, John Cena defends one last time against the Viper, Randy Orton.
I'm going with Super Cena via Sexy Red.
I'm not going to call the actual rapper that's going to help, but I do think John Cena retains his championship in the main event of Backlash. I'll run through Jared's picks here real quick since he is in the chat. Our third co-host, if you're not a regular around here, John Cena wins. Lyra retains. Thank you. Gunther, Dirty Dom, and then Fatu.